Combined Fine Arts Thrissur and the acclaimed theatre practitioner to join them in conversation. Please, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Today, we had with us MALPRATICE and the show team. The director is there with Adil Peta is here, and the major performer, Rujitra Soman, is also here. And her good name, sir, Pradeep, who is the sound light designer, and Vish is the sound music along with them. And we had a very wonderful show. And the whole audience is carried by the energetic performance by her. And the play is dealing with a very contemporary issue. And I think the whole team is very much able to communicate what they had aimed to communicate. That's a very successful production and appreciated by the whole audience. And it goes with the theme of the festival, the resistance by a woman, by an artist. And basically, the director is working in theatre many years. And even he had multiple appearances in It Folk itself. And Pradeep, I don't know, she's Rujitra Soman is basically a Kathak dancer, a professional Kathak dancer. And first time she is interacting with the theatre. And they had a long schedule of around 6 to 8 months to make this play. And the music was captivating. It was live, but it goes in tune with the play at each and every moment. And it is marvelous to see and hear the way the stage is behaving for the audience. There is no loop points where we can recognize that a performance is going on. But it's a very stylized production in a way. Very stylized production. Images were stylized. And basically she is a dancer. So this element of dance is very consciously imbibed into the production. It's not an accidental thing, but they had made it very conscious to have it on stage. And it is very beautiful. And I like to have a small introduction of all those, which is the better you yourself can introduce audience. Okay? Okay, you start from...
Hello, Namaskar. Thank you, ITFOK, for conducting and inviting us here. A wonderful festival. Here on the dais, Pradeep Vaidya is here. He is a writer, director, and light designer. He owns 5 theatre spaces in Pune. He is a fantastic person. He has completely revolted the Pune theatre. Rujitra Soman, for the last couple of years, 40 years more than, she is a Kathak dancer. She has participated in many national and international dance festival. She is a disciple of Pandit Rohini Bhate. Umesh Warbhuvan is a percussionist. He works with so many people, like basically mainly with Trilok Gurutu and other people, and used to travel very all over the world. Myself, Atul Pethe. Is that enough?
You can some play and do the process that you
Of this play? Yeah. Okay, MALPRATICE and the show started 3 or 4 years back with Rujuta. Credit goes to Rujuta because she eagerly want to do a play with me. But 10 years back, I started one discussion with Parna, my daughter, whose performance is on 29, and we are supposed to do one play. And that was based on Monica Lewinsky's TED Talk. But it could not happen. But the subject was in my mind. After Rujuta's request, we started process. In the meanwhile, we deviated from Monica Lewinsky's TED Talk and started discovering ourselves. What are the issues? The 2 incidences happened in that period. Number one incident is with Gautami Patil. She is a very famous Lavani dancer. And her photographs got morphed with the AI, and suddenly it was the huge news on the social media. She was harassed. And another incident with myself and Parna, when we are performing in one theater, Parna came to me and said, Ki, Baba, there is one camera in makeup room, changing room. And I was shocked. And there was no any notice you are under camera surveillance or like that. And I got that stage manager and owner of the theater, and he said, sorry, then we deleted. But these 2 incidents changed our the subject, not the subject, content remained the same, but the storyline we started developing. In the course of 6 months, one by one, we started discovering that it don't need the words. It will be a without words, only a drama with the dance, because she is a dancer. And what will happen if the dancer is going and she suddenly got caught into such a bizarre situation? In this process, Umesh joined us, and we all devised, and naturally with Pradeep, myself and Rujuta collaborated this production. We did 20 shows in Pune only in the box. But lot of things, according to us, there are 3 characters, not only Rujuta. Rujuta is on the stage, but music and the lights are the 2nd and 3rd characters. So we tried our best to interpret the whole experience of voyeurism and the market and the women and all these underlayered, so many subjects, there is a subtext. We tried our best to discover that in this 6 months process, and it just then happened.
So as Atul was saying, the process was quite long, and it was designed, the production was designed for getting performed at box itself, and we never moved it anywhere else. So it was interesting to see that it got selected in this festival after 3 years, after we stopped it, and we had to refurbish the entire thing again. We revisited the topic, we revisited the rehearsals, and everything went on again. And then we are here with the slightly nuanced performance, and some small changes occurred, but largely it remained the same. So it was very interesting to watch a play which was designed for a particular space, and it traveled to this space, and we performed it there.
thanks to Atul and Pradeep for encouraging me and giving me this opportunity, basically to, experiment with theatre, dance and theatre, which was my, it is like dream come true. I used to watch so many dance dramas, and so it was my dream and wish to collaborate with theatre director, and I got that opportunity to work with the great theatre director Atul Pethe, and the entire team helped me a lot. There were so many ups and downs because I come from dance background and being established, so-called established Kathak dancer, and doing such, bold and really very different, unconventional play. So it was really, that was a process for me, many ups and downs, and finally I did. And this is a great opportunity at ITFOK to perform and get the feedback from the audience, which comes from all over. So it was an amazing experience for me to perform here, and especially at that theatre in School of Drama. It gave me really amazing vibes and really a very different energy with which I could perform here. So thanks to all the audience for giving me such a wonderful feedback, and really I got encouraged. Thank you so much.
It was a great process when we were exploring this soundscape, because it was like one dance performance, and other one was like exploring any plastic sound, table sounds, and looking for them. Lot of fun, and this guy is crazy, like Atul Pete. So I call him Pope Pete. He's a pope from our church. So thanks to him, and thanks ITFOK for having us here.
And I think I can have an interaction with those who are here, and please make your questions very brief, so that answers will be also small, and mostly everybody can ask their questions.
Tick, 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 long.
Are there any queries from the audience side? Comments?
Good morning. I was wondering, what is the significance of the word malpractice? Mal in the Hindi word, or is it the mall, or is it, what exactly does it mean?
It's the name of the play is MALPRATICE. The word is coined by us. Basically, this malpractice we know, the word is very much used in medical practice, but here we deliberately kept it's a mall. So it has two connotations. The rehearsal is in the mall. Mall is a market. It asks you to do art convert into product. So it's a deliberately kept. We kept that name, MALPRATICE and the show, but we coined that word. Wonderful. So we'll have a cup of tea or coffee outside. I think we should go.
After closing the show, there will be a lot of questions. Susan, can you talk about the rhythm that is you kept throughout the play?
when he was telling me we want to show a road that she's walking on, so for that, I just required one beat to just doop, 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 doop. And on that beat, he created the whole atmosphere. And both of us are jamming on that. So there is every play, there is new thing happening, but the doop, doop is the constant. And he's going crazy, I'm going crazy, she's going crazy. So, and a lot of fun. I got to learn so many things from him, and the rhythm was a very strong part in the play. So that was the best part, like for me to explore, because I play percussion. And I had a great time discussing with him about things like about sound, about creating characters through sounds and all that. So it was a great process. He will tell you something more.
Okay, let me start with another thing. That before creating the sound, we were hearing something different drums. Number one, as a content, it's a completely, as Abhilash Pillai sir said yesterday, it's a brave attempt. For her, Rujuta, it took 2 months to unveiling or changing. When she goes into the changing room, I'm sure most of our people are not asking questions because they have not seen the play. So that's why there is a silence. Anyway, but there is a dancer who is going to the mall for the rehearsal, and in the changing room, she do exercises before the rehearsal. At the time of dance rehearsal, she got a call, and there she come to know that her photos, probably while changing the clothes, got viral. She get frustrated, she get depressed, she comes back to home, she feels that it is a completely under psychological trauma. She feels that she should die, and she goes for the suicide. But suddenly something happens, like the moment that she was jumping, the wind comes, and that breeze of wind gives her a slight wisdom that I should leave for something else. She comes back and dance with the box, putting a box in on the head, and she dance with the protest. So it's a dance of protest. It is woman's agony and today's voyeurism and social media. As I said in the earlier part, there are so many layers in the play. In the process of 6 months, slightly we started understanding, oh my God, this can happen with the women. Another thing for Rujuta, she is a classical dancer, and as we know, we have great tradition, no doubt about that dance, but still, sometimes there is a rigidity also. Like theater has a brave attempts. We have a great people that they gave us that kind of a confidence to do a various kind of subjects on the stage, theater, like Ghashiram Kotwar and Sakharam Binder and other plays all over in India. But still, in the field of dance, she was facing a lot of problems with the content and what will the effect or affect her career. In the process, we stopped actually. Okay, if you feel insecure, then we will stop. But again, she feels that no, I should do this, and that was the rebellious something from Rujuta, and we carry forward. We tried our best to interpret it in a different way. In the course of music, when it comes, it's a destruction or you can say deconstruction of the music also. We haven't used Sushira Vadya, a flute or other blowing instrument or satar or like string instrument. We tried our best to create music from the rawness, hitting on the wood, hitting on the metal, hitting on the bubble paper. I think Umesh and all we devised that. We experienced what it gives the experience. what is the effect of that, what it says. So in the process, we are starting saying it's a plastic world that we have to crack that. So looking at ourselves, our world, and today's this period in which we are going through, that we say always it's a black period, it's a really difficult period. A lot of censorship is there, wiring is there, social media is looking at you, big boss is looking at you, and especially women in India, they are facing what to eat, what not to eat, what to wear, what not to wear. So there are a lot of constraints and rules and regulations for women. So I think we all came together and we thought, okay, this will be the protest, and she want to say something. And at the end, with the use of lighting, it's not a male or a female, it is something gender less, something we want to create through the lighting. And I think Pradeep will add on that note.
There are two aspects of this production on which I would like to say something. First is I am one of the producers of this play, so as the box we are one of the producers of the three, and it needed a long process. It required a safe kind of space where we could explore things for a longer duration of time, and providing that kind of atmosphere and that support was my first job, and I think we could manage that well, so it could explore those smaller things, smaller bits, and all the nuances that were supposed to be explored. As when I saw the production in a perspective of light designer, I think when I work as light designer, Mohit is here, I have worked with him quite a lot. I am especially interested in one thing. Generally, light designers are expected to show the storytelling that the actors and directors have designed. The actors and directors have the primary function of telling a story, and the light designer shows it to the audience. I am particularly interested in my participation in the telling of the story wherever it is possible. And then I got ample of that opportunity in this production. So especially where she is going through that maladjustment with that particular thought of who she is and those existential all that crisis, and her decision of going to attempt a suicide, and then coming back again to a thought that no, I'm not going to do this and I'm coming back to life. So that particular patch I could explore in a particular way through the lights. There were many other things which evolved as we went on performing, and that is how the entire thing got designed.
I have a question for you, Rujita.
Yeah.
Since you're a classical dancer and you were doing theatre, you were devising a performance. One, I would like to know if you faced any difficulties when you changed the discipline of performance. And two is, from classical dance to you were moving towards contemporary movement, was there any resistance that you felt because you come from the culture of classical dance? And three, moving forward, how has this experience changed your thinking about a performer's body, a performance in itself?
Basically, I come from a pure classical background, but my guru Rohini Bhate was a very modern thinker. She herself, I'm very much inspired by her work. She was never stick to, the only, of course, the ground is pure classical, but to explore the movements, to think differently, think different themes. She also has explored so many themes like time teaches, time freezes, but after all time is. So like these abstract themes she has done through Kathak, and that was my inspiration. And always she has written in her book that the body is an instrument. So you have to express through your body. So that is our instrument, and the dance is a medium. So that thought always was in my mind. And of course, the difficulty was not there to explore the movements. It was rather an amazing process. Of course, it was ups and downs, like, you know, taking off, stripping the garments one after one, and, you know, that part. So that part was really challenging for me, of course. And like I'm now, like I'm at my 50s, and I'm in this field, like I shared just some time back, that so-called established, you know, dancer in your fraternity, Kathak fraternity. And I'm running institute in Pune. I have 80, 90 students with me. So yes, there were so many elements that pulled me down, you know, many times. That what will happen with your classes? Students will go away from you, like if you do such kind of acts, or like what will your husband will say, or what your you know, family will say. So whatever. So these elements were put in my mind through some, you know, forces. But yeah, and at one point I really started thinking like that. So, but then again that thought, you know, came in my mind that this is an amazing theme, this is a prevailing issue, and this is, you know, the storytelling is a base of dance as well. So why not to tell story through, you know, dance, the medium of dance. And of course, my passion was, like, like I said, it was my dream to, you know, collaborate with theatre. And it is a great opportunity to, you know, present something unconventional in unconventional way. And I have been doing yoga, and, you know, I was aerobic instructor, so exploring contemporary movements, and that was not an issue for me. But the only thing I shared, like, you know, stripping the clothes, that was the problem. But yeah, the movement exploration was amazing, and Atul also helped me. He's an amazing dancer, I should say. So we both together have devised, you know, or like explored the movements. So many times we have fought, and you know, even I experienced that there are so many, like it goes hand in hand, of course, dance and theatre, but there are some elements which are very, you know, contrast. Like first I used to, that road part, like showing the road and everything. So I used to walk a lot, like taking rounds and rounds, and I never used to get tired, and I never used to do like that. So he said once that you're not giving expression of getting tired. I said, yeah, I am not getting tired. So like, and then suddenly it stuck in my mind that yes, I discussed with him that when we are on stage, we are performing like, you know, huge tal presentation, like for half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, I can dance for 3 hours and I don't get tired. So like, and it is not allowed to, you know, breathe and so it's not allowed, like, you know, in classical dance. Otherwise the people say that, oh, you don't have any stamina. So this is our, you know, discipline. So this is very contrasting. And then then I started realizing, so it was unlearning and learning, you know, going into zero and again learn newly something, you know, exploring something very new. And of course, in the process only, like you know, I used to wear stockings, and in first 5 shows I were wearing stockings and the shorts. So, and then even I left wearing the stockings. That was, you know, freedom I got from inside to perform because that subject hit me so much because we experience it in our day-to-day life, like encroaching your personal space, and I personally have experienced a lot in my, so for so many years in my field, and even just you travel in the train and you're covered from top to bottom, but still there are that stinging stairs, and वो बहुत चुभती हैं आपको, मतलब नजरें जो चुभती हैं, so that is still there. So that actually the subject hit me a lot, and then there was no end to it, and exploring the movements, and in these before we came here we did 2 shows in box, and that was our like a grand rehearsal, and we put the shows only because we were again reviving after 2.5 years, and then I found something new again while performing it, so that was the process.
Okay.
Let me add, she said I am a dancer. I am not a dancer. She learned a good acting from me, but I haven't learned a good dancing. So they used to call me, it's like a Mohini Attam, it's a Atul Hattam.
And he's
No, the reason behind Atul Hattam, he was very, adamant in his, like imposing his own thoughts. No, you have to do like this only. Like this means like this. This movement should go like this only. I am dancer, let me explore myself, please. It was like, so Atul Hattam.
And he's an actor in Kasiram Gotwal. And he has produced and acted in short films, and he's a documentary maker. And Adulpeta is a very versatile artist. And anyway, this is the time to close the session. We are very happy that Nadaghar, the name of their theatre group, along with Adil Pete and his team, for coming over to perform in this festival and having this interaction with us. Even though very less interaction, but it's interesting to hear the whole history of making the play, the process, how was the psychological state, everything has been communicated to audience, I think. And surely, after this much of talk, there should be a lot of questions in your mind. They will be here itself, so you can continue with your discussions after the session. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, team MALPRATICE and the show, and thank you very much, Shibu sir. The conversation really added value to the experience of the play. Thank you very much. Now, let's move on to the play Under the Mangosteen Tree, which mesmerizingly recreated the rich literary landscape of the Beppu Sultan. I'm sure we all joined with his characters in fanning out dear Bashir to eternal remembrance. That was a moving gesture to end the play with. Now, may I request team Under the Mangosteen Tree to occupy the dais. I also welcome our dear Chandradasan sir, the much known theatre director and practitioner, to lead them in conversation.
cheek, 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 hey, one, cheek.
Guys, thank you for. Hello. First of all, I don't know whether you came to hear about our play, but thanks for coming. But I'm very uncomfortable with this kind of seating arrangement where people are sitting on a dais and preaching to whoever it is. I would much prefer a circular kind of seating, but I do it under protest because I don't want to, yeah.
So with the protest of Rajiv taken, we will move forward, and we have to finish it by 12:30. So there's less time, and I don't want to take much of the time myself. Those who do not know Rajiv, I think everybody knows him. I am not going to introduce him much. You don't know. So okay, Rajiv Krishnan and the group Perch. I don't know whether they are from Chennai or Bangalore or Pondicherry, or maybe from the three cities. They are there. They started in 2008 and doing a lot of productions. I've seen two of their Bashir. This was named Sangadi Aranya before. Now they are turned to Moonshine, Under the Mangosteen Tree. The other play of Bashir was Moonshine and Sky Toffee and Moonshine and Sky Toffee. How to Skin a Giraffe. Birds, I think, and so many productions he has done. I've seen many of them, and they are not new to ITFOK also. And they have performed a lot of times in Kerala, Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Pondicherry, and wherever theatre happens. So this is the second Bashir play which we have been seeing, and we have got a host of wonderful actors who can speak for 30 minutes each, but we don't have that much time. Rajiv Krishnan will speak if needed under protest. So first of all, let's move to you first. Give your reactions, responses, doubts, questions. Don't take it a question answer session. You ask and they have to answer. You may ask, they may not answer. You may ask something, they will answer something else. That's also possible in this session. So your responses are very valid. How do you take it? But I personally would have loved to start this session with the history of this play. It has been produced many years before and performed, and they are reproducing it after a 10 years period. So this play coming back.
The show that they saw, or let's take it from here.
Yeah.
Because we have to travel way back 2008. It's wonderful to.
What's the point of all that? I mean, we shouldn't assume that you're interested in us just because you've taken the time to be here. So let's first start. Anyway, let's see if we have time for all that. But let's start with, if you have anything to share, it could be about ITFOK, it could be about the play, it could be about yourself. But just keep it short. Let's start there, and if you don't have anything, let's just move on. It's fine for us. I'm not comparing us or trying to be different. It's just what I feel.
Yeah, we'll proceed like that. Let the mic be given to them. Please raise your hands and start it. Okay, give the mic there, please. Hello. Give the mic there.
Hi. Rajiv, I've been watching your play since 15, 20 years. You also did one Swiss play called Mina, I think, the Switzerland play at Lady Under. And I've seen many of your plays. You have a lovely sense for lighting, and you have some of the wonderful, wonderful artists with you. I've been following you since 10, 15 years, and very, very good performance and very good mood. I really enjoyed, and wonderful, wonderful artists. I don't know how, you're lucky to get all of them. But only first time I'm watching Rajiv in lungi. I never seen him in a lungi. And Rajiv prized me only once. No. No, I'm sharing since my 20 years experience. It's okay.
I had a question for Paul actually, but before that, I think there's a certain people who are here either don't want to be here or want to sit in a circle, or it just puts too much pressure on us. Don't ask. Y'all are performers, you perform on stage, we are audiences, we sit and watch, and then you agree to a Q&A, so we come here to ask questions or whatever. I think it's too much. There's this too much drama happening here that doesn't allow for a comfortable, ordinary, whatever. Thank you. I also know most of you, so I think I can say this. Also, I have a train to catch, so I want to go a little bit around, so it's like given me a little bit of, I think, anxiety. But having said that, I have watched the show many, many times in many, many cities. I won't go back to 2005, I promise. But I do love the show very much for many reasons. Paul, I want to ask you, because I have been at the show many times in cities where people have mistaken you for Bashir. Even as recently as in Chennai, where people thought Bashir himself was on stage and they didn't know that he was not alive anymore. But you have been part of the show with many different actors. And who's your favorite? No. I want to know how it has been for you over these years to go through whatever Bashir's words are with different sets of people, because the world of Bashir is the same, the energy of the same, the beauty of that is the same. And there is a swirling group of people who come, but you have been there like Bashir. So I want to ask you how it has been for you.
Thank you for the question. Well, I've been there right from the beginning as Bashir, thanks to my baldness and my wrinkles. But I've enjoyed it. The fact is, as you rightly said, Bashir has got a certain core which cannot be tampered with. He was a mystic, he was insane often, and he was an extremely creative person, very empathetic, and he believed that even a grasshopper or a flower has as much right to exist as we do, as a human being. So when his daughter plucked a flower, he was very angry. He said, just as you have the right to see the flower has the right to be on the plant. That was the kind of man he was. So there cannot be a change in Bashir's character. But the actors who came, one thing about our maverick director is that no matter how insecure you feel because some actor has changed or some actor is not available, I have anxiety too at that time, but I have complete trust in the direction that it will work. And that is something which that trust has never failed. So they get into the groove, they see the other actors, some actors are old, some actors are young, new, but ultimately the spirit of Bashir overrides all personality differences. I think he's already scared the audience, so now.
नमस्कार, मैं हिंदी में बात करता हूँ, माफ़ कीजिए। आई एम कम फ्रॉम कर्नाटका, इज़ अ थर्ड ईयर कमिंग। आपका बशीर का कहानी है, आज का ज़रूरत का मौला है, चल रहा है। वो अभी हम पढ़ लिख का है, फिर भी हम वही सोच रहे हैं। क्या है थीम, इटफोक का थीम है, वो बहुत अच्छा आप लोगों ने दिखा दिया। वो उसमें ओवर एक्टिंग भी था और एक्टिंग भी था, सच का था, और कुछ भी किया मन से किया। वो डायरेक्टर का काम सभी दिख रहा था। इसके लिए पूरा टीम के लिए हम बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। नमस्कार।
I'm watching the play for the second time. I watched it in Bangalore some months ago, and I've watched other Perch productions from Miss Meena and a lot in between. As much as painful as it might be, I'd love to hear the history, whatever it is. I'd love to hear. Yeah, familiar with Perch, but not enough. So, yeah, I've placed the request. It's up to you to respond.
I'll just add to his question because this is the first time that I'm watching the play, and now that I know that it has this history of whatever 10, 20 years, how do you, my curiosity is about how do you keep it relevant to the time, because I know the stories themselves are timeless, but to bring them in the context of a play would require some amount of contextualization. So what is the thinking behind that?
Hello. First of all, my apologies. I drew too much attention to myself, which was not my intention at all. It's just to create a more sort of democratic space to interact. I don't feel these dioceses and this kind of seating does that. And I have very strong feelings about it. So my apologies for imposing that on you. Secondly, very briefly, this play dates back to 2007. So, not 2007, actually 2004, where we decided to do another play called Moonshine and Sky Toffee, based on 2 short stories of Ika Mohammed Bashir. And we made a trip to Calicut at that time, 3 of us, just to soak in the sounds, the sights, the smells, and whatever else of Calicut, and most importantly Bepur, where Bashir lived. But in 2007, we realized that Bashir's centenary year was in 2008, and we wanted to do something bigger. So we took on, we went, 20 of us went to Calicut and Bepur, and this time we really we did a lot of just enjoyable, I wouldn't even call it research, but it was just, we just soaked in everything that we possibly could, and a lot of it appears in the play as you see it. And we premiered this play in a 2-week-long festival to celebrate Bashir, and we called it Under the Mangosteen Tree, 100 Years of Bashir. And the play was called Sangadi Aranya, Have You Heard? Sangadi Aranya means, what have you heard? Excuse me. So we did that festival. And we also toured to a lot of places with that, including Bombay. I think our only visit to the glorious, sanctified Prithvi Theatre, which we have never been to since, and don't plan to either. But so that's we did a lot of shows, and actors came and went. That's very true what Nimi is saying. Nimi has been following us for a while. A lot of actors have traveled through this play and contributed to it. We started our rehearsals in an old motorcycle garage, which was very close to, at that time, a village called Perangudi, which is now the hub of the IT, industry in Chennai. So we had a wall which connected to a dilapidated house. The garage was in another building, and snakes used to come out of that, and we used to find them in the sets. We cleaned the garage. The toilet looked like, you know, it was from the Harappan civilization. We cleaned it so much that we could eat off the floor. We cleaned it, and all the shelves, even a lot of the tools, props we use in the play are still from the garage. So that's how, and we believe in performing, okay? As in, even if you're working on a play, in a week or 10 days, we'll do a small performance for friends, and that's how the play evolved. And it's taken many avatars. Many people have come and gone. In this specific avatar, there are 5 new actors and 5 old actors. So the idea was also, if we were to revive Bashir, what is the reason? Obviously, not nostalgia. Bashir has a certain way of really, like, you know, not letting you go. And that's something we all struggled with after doing Bashir. It took us a few years to get out of Bashir, and it's quite dangerous. So now it's been a while, so it felt nice coming back to him. And, you know, the idea was to bring 5 new actors so that we could, like, really find new things, make new discoveries. And I'm really, like, you know, it was so exciting. You'd be a bit shocked if you know how many days we worked, because these are all serious theatre people, so I won't say it. But, you know, so the 5 new actors brought a lot of, like, freshness to the play. And very interestingly, when we were selected for ITFOC, one of the actors who's been with us for 50 years dropped out due to personal reasons, and we had like some 1 month. And that's when I felt that, I mean, I'm not praising myself or anybody, that's when this idea of casting Aparna as the young Bashir came up, and I feel till now this is the most radical thing we have done in this play, okay? And it felt so good. Again, for serious theatre people, please excuse me, we rehearsed for a week, but Aparna's traveled with all the nearly 100 shows of the play we have done so far. So she knows, but playing, because Ishwar's imprint was so strong on that character, having done like 80 shows, it was the first thing Aparna had to do was unlearn that. Because she's so used to, she's even played Narayani on the other side of the wall. So she had to unlearn first, all in 7 days, thanks to Maya, who provided some very good lunch, which helped. So, you know, so that's the beauty of this version of the play. And we are very excited. We did a lot of, not so many shows, I mean, 12 shows before coming here. So, but coming here to me is special, again, because Kerala is the birthplace of Bashir. And I would be curious to know for myself, because already we perform in English, you know, Bashir in English, so automatically presumes our references come from translations, etc., etc. Some of them which were also made by Paul and people within the group. It's not just translations. Adira helped us. So I'm curious to know, not for the anglicized people so much as me, but I'm curious to know people who speak Malayalam and to whom Bashir is so sort of like a prized possession. I mean, I wouldn't, please don't get triggered. I'm not using possession in any kind of either spiritual way or, you know, any specific way. So, yeah, so I'm very curious to know for people who have read Bashir in the Malayalam, and Bashir is such an indelible part of your growing up years and your memories. What was it that was jarring for you? Were you able to accept Bashir? We have done a lot of shows in Kerala, but this is what intrigues me, frankly, and please take time to talk, and, you know, I mean, sorry for sort of taking so long.
Anybody from there wants to respond to what Raji was asking for? Malayalam Bashirne വായിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള ആൾക്കാർ they know Malayalam. എന്തെങ്കിലും കമന്റ്സ് പെട്ടെന്ന്?
ഹലോ, എനിക്ക് ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ കൺവേ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല, മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയാം. ഞാൻ ഞാൻ കണ്ട ബഷീറിനെ മറ്റൊരു തലത്തിൽ അവതരിപ്പിക്കപ്പെട്ടു. നന്നായി, വളരെ നന്നായി. ഇതെല്ലാം കൂടെ കൂട്ടി യോജിപ്പിച്ചാണ്, എല്ലാം കൂടെ ഒന്നിച്ച് കണ്ടപ്പോഴാണ് എന്താണ് ബഷീർ എന്ന് എനിക്ക് ശരിക്കും മനസ്സിലായത്. ഇതാണ് ബഷീർ. ലോകം വെറും ഒരു ഭ്രാന്താലയം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ഇത് മാത്രമാണ്. എക്സസീവായിട്ട് മറ്റേ നമുക്ക് സങ്കടം വന്നാലും സന്തോഷം വന്നാലും അത് കുറച്ച് നേരത്തേക്ക് നിൽക്കണുള്ളൂ. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പിന്നെ ഒന്നുമല്ല. പിന്നെ അത്ര മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ ജീവിതം. ജീവിതത്തെ വളരെ ലഘുവായിട്ട് കണ്ട് ഇതെല്ലാം കൂടെ ഒന്നിച്ച് കണ്ടപ്പോഴാണ് എനിക്കത് മനസ്സിലായത്. വളരെ സന്തോഷം. ഞാൻ നന്നായി എൻജോയ് ചെയ്തു. ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ.
വേറെ ആരെങ്കിലും? Anybody else? No, she was saying that no. Yeah, she was saying that no. She has seen this play. She has read Bashir, different texts, different novels, different short stories. We don't know how to call it, a short story or novel or novelette, whatever it is. It is Bashir's own creation. She has read it, and Bashir was a unique person who took life very lightly. I think externally, but internally he was taking it very serious. Seriousness and lightness is beyond Bashir. That's what I understand. But she said that no, when she saw the different stories together on the stage, she could understand Bashir more. That's the essence of what she said. So since we have got only 3 or 4 minutes left, anybody, quick responses? Or else I have to conclude it, no. Give the mic please, behind.
Production was very nice to me, very good performance, fantastic actors. I have one doubt. You were used all the main songs of Talat Mahmood, but I have one question. Why don't you choose that famous song, Jalte Hai Jiske Liye?
No answer for that. Okay, fine. So we have to wind up, but as Rajiv said, we have a host of old actors who have performed it 100 times and new actors who are freshly into it. I would love to hear their experience of doing it, at least one of them, 2 minutes each, please. And one from Aparna and one from Parshadi. Aparna has been, no, who is it? Yeah.
Thank you. I was like an audience when I saw Under the Mangosteen Tree in Chennai. So I never thought I would be on stage fanning in the last scene. So it was it's quite like a magic for me to from there to get onto the stage. And thank you for. And I'm also very happy to be part of this travel. You know, last one the same the Yaragamari. I was also part. And thank you so much, Ayya.
Can we finish this, Satya, please? We'll talk outside.
What to say? It's so many years of so many things. I think I've become a better actor because of Bashir. I've had the blessing of being in many, many characters, many casts, and each and every time there's one feeling of hopeful, no? Because as actors, I think we suffer a lot to get something or not get something, and always kind of feel upset about it not coming on the first go. Bashir, I think, taught all of us that the more you do it and do it and do it, you'll find something. So that's something I always hold very close to my heart. What to say? It's Bashir. Hold him tightly and give him a kiss so hard he becomes breathless.
For me, it's homecoming. That's one way that I would describe it. The play has been a big part of my life as an actor, and every time I come back to do this show or this play, it just feels very warm and comforting, and it's a place where I feel very safe and loved. So that's that for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm one of the youngest actors and the newest actors in the thing. For me, it was very interesting because, I am a Malayali and I'm I've been brought up in Kerala, and Bashir is dear to me. But when I was with this collective, who are not really, who do not belong to Kerala in that sense, I could see Bashir in a very fresh light. For me, it was like a revisiting of Bashir. So that way, I found it very interesting. Yeah.
Well, I feel very fortunate. Bashir has been the experience of a lifetime. I've done theatre since 1968, almost continuously. And for me, this has been the kind of highlight, the epitome, the climax of my acting journey. And I'm deeply, deeply grateful to have been part of this adventure. It is very enlightening. Thank you.
So since this time up, we have to conclude. There's a lot of things to be discussed. The way how Rajiv, he said he is not talking. Okay, no, since you are very democratic, he used to be. So there's a lot of things to speak about. How this democratic attitude of Rajiv Krishnan works in the rehearsal, and what is the process between actor and the character and the director and the properties also. It's very important in the play. So those things are, I think Rajiv will write detail on it later. I am imposing you to write about the process of doing Bashir separately.
No, he is democratic, but when he is rehearsing, he is not democratic.
Please, let's stop this navel gazing in theatre, I mean, what, democratic or not, the main thing is community. I appreciate, no pressure, Nimi, sorry. I appreciate Chandradasan. I've known him for years. He's been a very valued friend. But, I really feel the need for more democratic spaces. And, even in the work, now we are dealing with a different generation of people. We are also, forced to relearn, unlearn, and actually sort of become more open to others. And nobody is perfect. And it's very difficult to do theatre in today's environment in many, many ways, because people are confronting so many other, mental health, not just mental health. There's so much going on. So I feel little less of navel gazing and a little more external outreach and understanding of things which I'm sorely lacking in will really help. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your patience.
So just thank you, ITFOC, for getting this play here, and thank you all. I give the thanks from Rajiv Krishnan also to ITFOC. And thank you, Rajiv Krishnan, for taking half of my moderation on your shoulders and making me freer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, team under the Mangosteen tree, and thank you very much, Chandradasan sir, for leading the conversation. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, let's move on to the next play. That's Conversation with the Team, the NETHER. The innovative and emotionally disturbing show which received wild applause yesterday for its conceptual and performative brilliance. Let's welcome Team NETHER to the dais. And may I also invite Dr. Amit Parameshwaran sir, Faculty of Theatre and Performance Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University, to converse with them. Thank you. Thank you, sir. May we have Team NETHER on the dais, please? The director, cast and crew on the dais. And Amit sir, please join them.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So we are having the conversation with the Asakta Theatre, Asakta Kalamanch with Mohita Kalkar here, and the performance that we saw yesterday, NETHER. And I'll just start off the first question just as a response, and then we can open it out to the people who are here. One is just a very simple question in terms of, you have also done many other plays, adaptations from international text from across the globe. And this seems to be a peculiar choice with also futurism. I've seen Ghanta Ghanta, which is also slightly that level, but why this choice? How do you place it? Would you also feel it as a group kind of, how do we do that adaptation? Is it a literal one? Do you have to kind of place it within the context? You know, what those sort of discussions in your case, and why, and how do you arrive at such a complex and interesting text? Yeah.
So, thank you. So yes, we adapt plays, but also in case of NETHER and the recent play Anatomy of a Suicide, we're doing it as is. So there's no adaptation, there are no changes, the script is as is. Because we find that, you know, these themes are so universal and they don't need another context to be added. That's the case. And I feel that right now doing NETHER was very, very important and pertinent for all of us because the way technology is progressing, and it's so quick, it's so fast that you know, it's hard to keep up with it. And it raises the most important question that is technology changing what we do, or is changing who we are? And are we ready to take the moral, ethical, aesthetic responsibility attached to it? And the other important thing is that this play just doesn't allow the spectator to remain a spectator, just the audience, because throughout the play you side with the characters, and because the arguments are so strong that you're bound to agree with Morris at times, and then Doyle at times, and Sims at times. So that leaves the spectator also in a very tight spot. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, and the other, I'm happy to answer whichever questions, but I would suggest that, you know, we also ask the actors, because in this particular case, they have been through with the play for a long time, and they have embodied these characters so much that please feel free to ask the questions regarding the characters and the mind to them as well. So, thank you.
And take questions from there, if not. Yes. Okay, so while people think, may I ask something? Both to, you know, two things. One, maybe start with the actors and then maybe about design. One was that it is a difficult text. It is very uncomfortable. It can become, and it's supposed to make you also uncomfortable. So I was curious, one, of how the actors get into this process, because of that figure of the child there, and it is supposed to make you uncomfortable. And if I'm not mistaken, playwright wants it to be a child actor, right? And also you have made that choice of that physical world up there, which is more mediated, but the actual, the virtual reality is right in front of you with theatre, with really physical presence, which makes it far more uncomfortable. So I was just curious how you respond, actors, the process through that. Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity to sit in this fantastic shed with coolers and technology and lovely faces and lots of love, and give us an opportunity to answer this question. When Mr. Mohit Takalkar sent us the script, there was also a note on the email saying, read it in your own time, and when you can, give the script its due time and respect, which I thought was a fantastic note to sort of give us. And what I like the most about the Nether is the human relationships, and it is set in the future. I don't think I've ever seen a sci-fi play. And here we are so lucky we get to perform in a sci-fi play. How would humans, and we're always pushing the limit on our imagination when we try and put up a piece of art for the consumption of an audience. So in our rehearsal process, we really had to think about, our director also had a series of films that we should watch, not necessarily sci-fi. In fact, none of them were sci-fi, but it's just human relationships between father and child or siblings, and a loss that happens. So to play in this arena of the Nether, we have all tapped into various aspects of our psyche based from the time we were born, our own relationships, so it's a very, very precious and it's a very intimate piece for us. What you get to see at the end, yes, we talk about technology, but at the end of it, it's way deeper. And each one of us, like 5 cast members, not to mention the entire tech team, which is, I think we're 20 of us in total. So it's just too powerful. It's too powerful. And we've been running this for a year and a half, so it's still new for me to completely articulate what it is we do and how we do it.
Hi. So it's been a very wonderful journey, and being part of this play, thanks to him for showing the trust and for the text, and thanks to everybody. Matlab, मैं कुछ नहीं हूँ without all these 4-5 people. So yeah, I don't have a lot to say. Thank you.
Hello everybody, thank you so much. It has been the honor of a lifetime to be at ITFOK. I have heard about it, seen about it, and I've never been, so thank you. I'm so grateful to be here for the very first time with this play, which is so special. When Mohit sent the script, I read it. I had worked with Mohit in 2024 on another production called Love and Information, and a couple of months later he sent an email saying, read the script, like Neil said. And I read it, and I absolutely just loved the way it was written. It's not every day that you get to read such good writing, and as theatre actors, as actors in general, it's always how we are so greedy and so hungry to sink our teeth into something yummy and delicious. And this play came exactly, it just offered me that. And I have a lot of pain because I feel as Detective Morris, I get locked up in a room, which is so funny because I'm supposed to lock people up in a room, but I am here locked up in this room, feeling so far away from an audience. And that's been a unique experience because usually when we're performing on a stage, there is blocking, there is the whole stage to play with. But in this play, I have a very specific 6 by 12 room, and I just walk within that, and the only 2 people that get to actually see me are Vivek Madan and Neil Bhupalam. And it's been interesting to play to an audience beyond a screen. It marries, I would say, some kind of technical stuff while also keeping a performance alive with truth and sincerity, and just extremely grateful to have this opportunity to play this kind of role, explore themes which are thought about by everyone, felt by everyone, but not often spoken about because we are so repressed as a society, we are so shy, we hide. And it's so funny that the place he makes is called The Hideaway, and how many people actually have so much hidden away and they're unable to share. And when you find someone you connect with, I think this play does a really good job of presenting a very basic human emotion in this very snazzy, futuristic, shiny packaging. So yeah, it's been the pleasure of a lifetime, and Vivek Madan will tell you in more detail now.
Thank you for the question, Amit. How many of us have watched the play already? Oh, great. Thank you very much. So that I won't be giving out too many spoilers, but this was a surprise to me as an actor. There are two scenes in which I have to cry. One is with Detective Morris, where the tears are more of fear, of betrayal, of loss, of uncertainty, and that was always difficult for me to achieve. It was easy in rehearsal. It's gotten more difficult as the show has become more jaded for us, because we're in our 20s now in terms of the show. But the surprising thing is the second time I have to cry is in the only scene I have with Neil, and those are tears of actual joy and love, and that's never been difficult. I don't know what that says, but I'm intrigued by it.
Wow, I don't know what to say after that, but thank you so much. It's always been very hard for me to talk about the play because I feel like it's a text that is so much full of exploration and discovery, even as an actor, even after doing so many shows. Like listening to each other on stage, you know, some lines, some dialogue, some moment, and then kind of just thinking about, like, it's a never-ending process, and I feel like that's also the beauty of the text, that it keeps giving, and there's so much to do. It's definitely a play that I think is an opportunity of a lifetime, because to collaborate with such wonderful people, Mohit, of course, who I've worked with before, but this was like the kind of work that we did in Kamshet was just so precious that I feel like we kind of took something with us from that space, and which we've carried together. It's kind of like the energy is coming together of some sort. But yeah, it's been great, and we are all doing our bit, but at the same time there's a whole like machine that runs the show, and I'm actually also very fascinated to just see the scenes, like in the rehearsal when other people are performing, because there's so much to learn from that. So yeah, I'm just very happy to do this. Thank you.
I just wanted to know how a different space as vast as this. I have watched it in a smaller space also, and yesterday I also managed to catch a glimpse of the play for a few minutes. I just want to know, how does it feel to you as a director to watch it from that distance, and how do the actors feel performing it for such a large audience and a very different space altogether? What happens with actors, what happens with the way we are trying to communicate and tell the story, if it changes anything, because it's also, you've created a space within a space, and there's another space within that space. There are 3 layers of space, if that does anything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, as space changes, your play changes, that's fine. But somehow, for the last 7-8 plays, I think, what I've been trying to do is that the structure of the play is so concrete and so solid that even if we get into a very small space or large space, for actors it doesn't change much. Like, for example, the interrogation room, the bed, they're central to it, and the movements are so choreographed, so it doesn't change. For example, in Anatomy of a Suicide, so the sections are divided, whether it's 6 feet or 7 feet, it doesn't change a thing. Or a play like Hunkaro, it's just 6 people sitting, but then the distance between them is so calculated that doesn't change for the actors. I'm sure that it changes for the audience, and especially because for NETHER we were not sure, because if the audience is so far away. But there's a wonderful thing which I have learned, is that when we call about, say, intimate theatre, we always think that the audience is intimate to the performance. Actually, that's not the case. It's about how close the audience are to each other. That's the intimacy. And say for in a movie theatre or a space where you have these fancy chairs, and so you can still be with yourself and there's no connection with others. But a space like what we performed yesterday, still, I mean, they were sitting like Prithvi lap to lap. And that intimacy was still there. So the connection, I feel, would still be there. That's how.
This question is to Mohit.
Yes.
Here, right here.
Oh,
So the thing is, the whole production seemed very, very Western to me. It looked like you were presenting an alien world where even the actors looked non-Indian, to say the least, and also speak that way. Was this a conscious choice to make it softer for the Indian audience, or, because it is a universal thing, it's happening even in India. Why was there a conscious choice not to set it here?
Yeah, no ma'am, not at all. As I said in the beginning that, these contexts are so universal. Because especially after COVID, we all have been spending so much time online. And then a person, say in America or Tokyo, is online at the same time that we are, or the questions of morality have been the same almost. So we started with the thought once maybe that should we adapt it, but we just didn't feel the necessity. The new play that I have done, Anatomy of a Suicide, where this choice that you mentioned was actively taken, that let's keep it foreign, let's name those characters as Carol, Anna, Bonnie, because the audience needs that small separation from them, so that the emotional approach is different, but not in this particular play for sure. As to how the actors look foreign, I have no control over it, but they were chosen for their talent, not for the way they look. Yeah, I'm sure that was not your question. Yeah. Oh, no, because it was a Victorian world, that's why, the moment you dress someone like that, for example, just yesterday we were talking that, say, suppose we were to adapt it, then could the Nether or the Hideaway be, say, set in Lucknow, in a Haveli? And that would have changed everything, the costume and even the language and the lahaja, everything. But that's just an option. I felt that, you didn't need to actually be in that world. The question was about aesthetic. The question was about aesthetic. What in terms of is that what happens when your arguments are so strong and when they are countered by this aesthetic from which you don't want to leave. You would like to stay there forever, and you would still soak in the beauty, and it's so beautiful that the real world feels inspired. And I think that beauty, that was the question to uncover. Thank you.
Folks, I want to just take this opportunity to share with you a little bit of some of the homework when we were doing and some of the research that I managed to stumble upon. You see, when the internet had come about, the humans, and very intelligent humans, wanted to create a space for humans which is not bogged down by the existing structures of society. They wanted to create a world which is free of all the existing cultural anchors, right? So you could have your own name, you could be from any country, you could be any, gender, you could associate yourself with anything, give you freedom. But man is very unpredictable. They had no idea, like the worst qualities of human nature would come out in this anonymity. Jessica revenge porn. The concept of a broken-hearted lover going and sabotaging their once partner's account and sharing images and destroying them, insulting people. it went on a dark side. Another thing, something like, what is that, infinite scroll, the infinite scroll. Are you familiar with this, where you know, until you keep scrolling, it will just give you content. The inventors of the infinite scroll, when they were given the option to unlock this, their whole agenda was just to make an infinite scroll. Now they regret because they didn't realize that human beings would not have their own editing software. They don't know when to stop. 2 hours go by, 5 hours go by. People are not connecting with their family. You go for a restaurant, this thing, there are 4 members at the table, nobody's talking to each other. Now this will only go deeper and darker once we get virtual reality and once technology evolves in the next. So we're further and further away from each other. So yeah, I think the robots are taking over and are destroying us. And like Mohit sir said at the beginning, the more you interact with something, you know, it tweaks your personality. Now we interact with a supercomputer to such a great extent that it's actually warping our entire wiring. So I guess the safest thing is to be mindful and use technology mindfully.
Hi sir, good evening. I watched the play only for 5 minutes. Yeah, I have so many reasons why it's like that. Actually, like this play is very verbal and also cerebral. Yeah, and you put audience, you put two of the artists at the extreme end. You know, and in theater it's very difficult. Definitely we can't get expression. At least if it's performance, even if we don't know the language, if the performance is very good, we can really enjoy, like Frankenstein. Yeah. And the people who are talking behind, also you put a big screen. No, we could not see anything at all, you know. And only I was waiting for this girl and the other boy who was to come. So then I thought, okay, whenever, so they come now and then every 20 minutes, I'll watch. So like that they came twice, so I watched it. And when people perform, you know, I think the director should have it in mind that the last person sitting in the venue, you know, he should be able to see something. I know in cinema we can see everything. In theater, little bit difficult. I thought next time when you, in case, bring that the people who are, standing, sitting and talking behind, as front as possible to the screen, and remove the screen. Remove the screen. Let them sit face to face, as close to the stage, and we will enjoy. And there is a film by Tarkovsky. I forgot the name. The greatest film. The film proves love is the greatest thing in the world. There is no science in the world can equal to be love, a human love. You know. So I was just a little bit thinking of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your suggestion. We'll definitely keep this in mind. Usually what happens when we perform at smaller venues, they don't seem so far away. But when it comes to such a large venue, it does. And we are sorry. No. I understand. But still, you know, the stage is too huge for us. We are more used to, you know, performing in a smaller space. But we'll keep this in mind. Thank you, sir. And was the Tarkovsky film, is it Sacrifice? No, Andrei Rublev. Ah, okay. But it speaks, yeah. Solaris. Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir. Yeah, true.
Other questions? We have 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes, so if there are any quick questions. No. Yeah, design, yeah. If you could kind of speak with designers also, yeah. Because I was also curious, because the playtext does not have any spatial, no, the playtext does not have any marked sort of spaces, no? So I was curious of how you, because I've read in another version of the, adaptation, I think the virtual world was the upstage, and so why did you choose this? Because I think this does something very different to the play, so
yeah.
I was curious.
Yeah, this play, the beauty of it is that, there are times when you find the design, and there are times when you impose the design on the play. This play particularly just, asked and demanded and cried for a design to be there. So because we are talking about aesthetic in it. And I'm fortunate that I've always been a bit design heavy. I've always been very, very conscious of what I put on stage. But here I had these wonderful designers with me, Sarthak and Saras, and I'll hand it to them. They can speak more on this. Thank you.
Yeah, so there were these two words, and probably the virtual one was closer for us somehow to the people, and we wanted to keep it downstage for the same reason. Somehow the text, directs you in a certain way where the virtual is more real than the real. So to figure out that equation between what's real and what's virtual was a complex situation, and we came up with the ideas of how to place this interrogation room, and then look at how real can we make this Victorian era, and that was one of the decisions which we were working on. Is there a question there? Regarding the design, if there's a... Okay, the process. So we started with the text, and we were there in the rehearsal room. We were brainstorming on the ideas of physicalizing the space. And slowly the projection became an angle which we discovered in the rehearsal process. We just used this basic WhatsApp video call kind of a device, put it on the interrogation table and tried it through the projection. And it started to bring in some kind of a voyeurism. We started to look into the faces of these people and inquire how much of surveillance and how much of looking into the stories can happen through this device. And while building the virtual world also, then the projection, the idea of projections with the Victorian era started to develop, because everything had to be very fragile, very edgy. It had to disappear very quickly, and it had to appear very quickly. Yeah, that's roughly about it. Saras, would you like to add something?
Sorry, I will speak in Hindi. So मेरा समय काफ़ी टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ ही गुजरता रहता है, मतलब जो भी कंटेम्प्रेरी टेक्नोलॉजी है, जो उसमें जितने भी वॉलपेपर्स या कह लीजिए कि जो वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड है वो सारा का सारा AI जनरेटेड है, और अभी जिस चीज़ के साथ मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, मतलब जैसे कि अभी कहा जा रहा है कि सिनेमा में भी एक्टर्स की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ने वाली, क्योंकि अब रनअवे जैसे सॉफ्टवेयर आ चुके हैं जिसमें केवल एक्टर्स को एक दिन बुलाना है मुझे, और उनका एक फ़ोटोग्राफ लेना है कॉस्ट्यूम में, और उसके बाद में बाकी पूरा प्रॉम्प्ट देकर एक फ़िल्म क्रिएट कर दूँगा. सो दिस इज़ रियली हैपनिंग नाउ. जो भी चेंज आ रहा है हम सबके पास, मतलब ये सारी चीज़ तो जो हम वेब देख पा रहे हैं वो वेब तो हम देख पा रहे हैं. एक डार्क वेब नाम की भी चीज़ है जहाँ पर हम सारे लोगों के पासवर्ड्स, हम सारे लोगों के जितनी भी डेटा है वो सारा कुछ स्टोर्ड है. सो अब वापस में अगर प्ले में आता हूँ, अभी थोड़ी देर पहले डेमोक्रेसी की बात हो रही थी, डेमोक्रेसी इन थिएटर। सो मुझे ये भी लगता है कि किसी एक को तो डिसीज़न बनाना पड़ेगा एक चीज़ के लिए, कि जैसे कि वॉलपेपर का जो डिसीज़न था वो सर का था, लेकिन हम भी उसके साथ जुड़ते गए क्योंकि शायद उन्होंने उतने अच्छे तरीके से देखा हुआ था। हमने काफ़ी सारे ट्राई किए, अलग अलग चीज़ों को लेकर आना, बहुत सारे कैमरों का इस्तेमाल करना। सो सर इसलिए कनेक्ट कर रहा हूँ कि मतलब जिस डेमोक्रेसी की बात हो रही थी उसमें भी कहीं ना कहीं एक डिसीजन मेकर तो होगा टॉप में। मतलब हम सारे लोग इतना डिस्कशन करते रहते हैं, बट somebody has to take the decision. That's it for.
We've run out of time. I'm sure there are a lot more questions, but we could take the discussion outside. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Team the Nether, thank you very much, Amit sir, and thanks to the audience for keeping the session lively. And we have come to the end of this session, Meet the Artist, and at 1:30 there is a lecture by DAKXIN CHHARA sir. I hope all of you join the session. Yeah, the same venue. I hope all of you join the session. We have another 20 minutes to go. Thank you very much.
Every Republic Day reminds me Mahashweta Devi's cry. The famous Maxis Award winner writer Mahashweta Devi. She used to say, आजादी के बाद किसी को कुछ नहीं मिला, किसी को कुछ भी नहीं मिला, डीएनटी को कुछ भी नहीं मिला, आदिवासी को कुछ भी नहीं मिला. Today, through my talk, and my experiences. I will try to explain why she said किसी को कुछ नहीं मिला. English is not my first language. It's not my mother tongue. Hindi is not my mother tongue. Gujarati is also not my mother tongue. My mother tongue is Bhantu, B-H-A-N-T-U. It's an indigenous dialect. And like my community, my dialect is also stigmatized as a language of thieves. So I speak Bhantu, but today I try to speak in Hindi and English just to communicate with you comfortably. Dear friends, I am deeply honored to be here today as the guest of honor at one of the most reputed theatre festival in the world. I sincerely thanks Honorable CM Sahab of Kerala State, the Minister of Culture, Shri Saji Cherian, Chairperson of Kerala Sangeet Natak Academy, Shri Matan Noor Shankarakutti, Secretary of Kerala Sangeet Natak Academy, Shri Karivellar Murli ji, Vice Chairperson, Shrimati Pushpavati ji, Shri Abhilash Pillai, Festival and Artistic Director and Curator of International Theatre Festival of Kerala. Festival Curators, Shrimati Ruwanthia de Chikhera, Shrimati Anamika Haksar, Shri Dr. Shrijit Ramanan, and Mr. Jyotish MG. My friend Jalil ji, and Government of Kerala and people of Kerala. When I was going through the website, when I spoke with Abhilash told me to go through the website, and I saw on the website that in 2014, many of you might believe that was marked as beginning of New India. A New India where instead of the Constitution of India, judges would referring to the Manusmriti. And that has happened at many instances. With many beautiful words also, like Amrutkal, Vishwaguru, Viksit Bharat, and recently, Viksit Keralam. Don't trap, please. In the same year, International Theatre Festival began its journey to restore the value of idea of India that were envisioned by our political leaders and constitution writer. From 2014 to 2026, themes like culture of resistance in 2025, ensemble peace confidence in 2024, humanity must unite in 2023, imagining communities 2020, resilience 2019, reclaiming the margins 2018, street performance 2017, body political 2016, theatre of resistance, theatre of today 2015, transition, gender, spectatorship 2014, and this year, voices in the silence have shaped this journey. Voices in the silence appears paradoxical. Silence and voice seem contradictory. If there is silence, we are sure there is no voice. If there is voice, we believe silence has been broken. But voices in the silence are not always audible. They are not always heard. They exist as piercing screams without sound, present urgent, painful, yet systematically ignored. For example, India's middle class, which is tired of inflation and struggling to run the kitchen, wants to shout out but remains silent or made silent. For example, tribals who are losing their land and witnessing deforestation, and Dalits who face caste-based discrimination daily want to scream out, but they are systematically made silent. Silence is political design, and it has been used to suppress voices. Voices that can threaten power, and power never wants us to speak. Let us first understand this in a global context, and then we'll come to home. When more than 71,000 people, Palestinian people, half of them women and children, are killed, the world largely remains silent. Millions of heart-wrenching screams echo through rubbles and blood, yet the global conscience refuse to listen. When theocratic power in Iran kills more than 12,000 its own citizens on their own soil, the world falls silent again, because oil, diplomacy, political convenience speak louder than human lives. When millions of people are killed in Middle Eastern and African countries for land, power, oil, natural resources, and ethnic cleansing. When ICE agents in the United States kill their own citizens on their own soil, deport even legally documented immigrants, and push a democracy dangerously close to autocracy, when a president threatens the world with tariffs, abduction, and wars, when international law is openly violated and the United Nations stands on the brink of irrelevance, this silence is not accidental. It is carefully manufactured. It is political. It is profitable. Now let's come to home, to India. On our own soil, minorities are still treated as terrorists. Dalits are still treated as impure. Adivasis are still described as uncivilized. Political party leaders are urinating on tribals' faces. Protesting farmers are called terrorists by MPs of this country. Caste-based atrocities on Dalits are at the all-time high. Youth are unemployed, directionless, and mostly passive, lost in the data world. And social media robbers are busy manipulating youth's choices. In the name of saving cows, Dalit and minority people are mob lynched and brutally murdered. Rape accused are free on bail and welcome with garlands. And people who dedicated their entire lives to Southeast nations are in jail. Yes, this is New India, where the state is openly using sedition laws to suppress voices and sending dissent's voices behind the bars with no judicial hearings for many years, where hate mongers are enjoying power, spreading hate in the name of Sanskriti, patriotism, and nationalism, etc., trying to turn this great democracy into an authoritarian state. We live in a country where the hate industry is booming, where the middle class is collapsing under the inflation, where 2% of the population controls the lives and future of the remaining 98%, and all these celebrated under the banner of New India. Am I audible? Yeah. In this New India, tribal, Dalit, women, are unheard, threatened, criminalized, and brutally silenced. Dissent is labeled as anti-national. Protest is treated as a threat to the state. State agencies do not merely silence voices, they force silence and then market the silence as happiness. We are told that silence equals peace, obedience equals patriotism, and suffering equals development. Sab changa si. But silence is not peace. Silence is not happiness. Silence is often the sound of fear. This is where theatre become essential. I was born in a community that is called CHHARA tribe, one of more than 200 tribes who were branded as born criminals during colonial rule and are still treated as born criminals. Entire communities, men, women, children, were declared criminals by birth without any crime under the Criminal Tribes Act of 1871. Illegal arrest, detentions, interrogations, caste-based discriminations, custodial torture, these are day-to-day affairs with the DNT communities. Our forefathers were nomadic performers, storytellers, acrobats, musicians, street theatre artists, storytellers, bahurpiyas. These were our traditional economies, our knowledge system, our pedagogy. Under the Criminal Tribes Act, our ancestors were forcefully confined in fenced settlements, open-air prisons, euphemistically called criminal tribe settlement. You might heard about Nazi concentration camps, and German used to say those Nazi concentration camps labor camps. So such labor camps also, there were more than 52 labor camps, and most of the nomadic and denotified tribes were caged in those labor camps across India. Very few people have written actually about that. My forefather used to live in those camps. For communities whose civilization was built on movement, performance, and freedom, this confinement was like caging birds were born to fly. The British criminalized our movement, our art, our culture, our language, etc. And unfortunately, none of our political leaders seriously take up criminal tribe issue even while writing the Constitution of India. And that's why even after the independence, DNT remained in fade. After independence, when they were still treated as criminals in free India, they started petty stealing. Our stealing patterns are live theatre. It requires excellent improvisation. And there is no space for fumble. Otherwise, they are caught and sent to jail. But we used our ancestral genetic talent to wipe out colonial stigma. For us, theatre is not entertainment alone. It is constitutional act. It is resistance. It is memory. It is testimony. It is how the silence speak when microphones are taken away. It is how bodies become archives when history is erased. It is how truth survives when language is censored. Through theatre, we break silence, not violently, but relentlessly. We reclaim public spaces, constitutional values, and human dignity. We refuse to accept silence as consent. Voices in the silence are not weak voices. They are dangerous voices. They are voices that power fears the most. Because once silence is broken, it can never be fully restored. Voices in the silence is not just a poetic phrase for me. It is lived reality of my community. It is condition from which Budhan theatre was born. Today, when a theft happens, we are still the first suspect. Our children are facing illegal detention, custodial violence, and social exclusion. As the sociologist Shri Vishwanathan once said, denotified tribes are forever suspect. In Kerala, even whenever there's a theft happens or stealing happens, police knows where they need to go and who they need to arrest. Because even in Kerala, there are so many nomadic and denotified tribes listed in many social categories, and still they are a scapegoat for the police department. Budhan Theatre was born out of this question, are we second-class citizen? It was founded in the memory of Budhan Sabar, a young man from the denotified tribe who was tortured to death in the police custody. His death was not an exception. It was a symptom of system that treats certain lives inexpendable. But Budhan Theatre was never meant to be a courtroom drama or a legal archive. It is something for more dangerous. It is lived testimony. Inspector Ashok Roy, who killed Budhan Sabar in the custody, got imprisonment of 7 years after 25 years of legal battle court to court. He is now old man. He maybe got bail because of various disease. But the person who killed Budhan Sabar in the custody, he just got 7-year imprisonment after 25 years. In conventional sense, Budhan was never a play. It is an experiential experiment rooted in collective life. Our theatre does not imitate reality. It emerges from the reality. Through theatre, we begin to unlearn criminality and reclaim culture. Through theatre, we begin to say aloud when history had buried. Budhan Theatre has now completed more than 25 years, 2.5 decades, performing over 1,000 shows across India, on streets, under trees, in classrooms, in Gali Mohalla, tribal fairs, universities, public squares, in schools, colleges, institutions, museums, etc. Budhan Theatre follow Grotowski's idea of poor theatre. We don't have money. We never had money. In the deepest sense, not just materially poor, but ethically uncompromising. Like Grotowski's vision, our theatre is rich in body, breed, discipline, and presence. Performance for us is not aesthetic alone. It is a survival. After Budhan play, whenever atrocities happen against DNTs across India, we used to perform on those case studies and raise our voice against such atrocities. Like Pinhari Kale ki maut, encounter, mazhab mein sikhata aapas mein bair rakhna. We performed after 2002 riots in Gujarat. Bulldozer, Teri Meri Kahani. We performed our plays based on our lived experiences, but we also adapted some nationally and internationally known plays like Diary of Force, Accidental Death of an Anarchist, to speak for minority communities. Choli ke piche kya hai? Based on Mahashweta Devi's short story Breast Givers, to express the pain of being poor women who nourish and create the luxury of rich women. George Ennis, The Balcony, where oppressor outside the balcony become oppressed inside the balcony and experience the pain and reality of the oppressed people. And Maxim Gorky's The Lower Depths, which we adapted in the context of bulldozing the busties everywhere and became the voices of the poorest among the poor. Because of theatre, we got some legal help also, like your kind of people. We also, from legal experts, to fight the housing rights of the DNT communities, like Dabgar, Rajbhoi. Dabgar people people who sell the maps on the streets, Rajboy who clean the ears. I don't know, maybe they are called something else here in Kerala, but I'm sure this community exists in Kerala also. Devi Pujak. These are the communities from Gujarat, Gujarat. We fought the case, the Budhan Theatre fought the case from Gujarat High Court to Supreme Court, and we won the case. And 118 families got their housing rights, and they are now living in a government-built Pakka houses. And lovingly, they called their locality as Budhan Theatre Colony. We used not just theatre, but also poetry, songs, films, dance, and music to express our anguish against the injustice happening to us, and try to bridge the gap between DNT communities and the system, so that at least we could remove the stigma of born criminals that has been attached to us for more than 150 years now. In the last 2.5 decades, many members came and left. A few remain and are still contributing to the DNT movement for the constitutional guarantee that was missed out while writing the Constitution of India. DNTs are struggling to find space in statute book for their welfare, rehabilitation, and protection. Let me share that we also run a small library, very small library. I was sharing with dear friend Chandra that we got a library with the help of now police department. This is a very different story. Initially, books were donated by the late Mahashweta Devi and the Bhasha Research and Publication Center. In this community library, children come and encounter literature. And if they are interested, they join our theatre group, write poetry, and practice music. Not just with conventional music instruments, but by producing music from liquor making utensils. My community is famous in brewing liquor. Actually, Gujarat is a dry state, and brewing liquor is it's illegal. And many of the members of my community, they are regularly get arrested by the police for brewing liquor because they don't have any other livelihood option. Our music groups call the band, it is the music. So, in our library, literature and art become our gateway to enter into the world of theatre and filmmaking. Once I was documenting Mahashweta Devi in conversation with Dr. Devi, and they were talking about death. While discussing, she said that Budhan theatre is important work for the DNT movement because it is, I'm quoting, continuous process, continuous work, concrete work, and it is difficult. It is a different what Badalda is doing in Kolkata. In last 2.5 decades, theatre has changed lives, but it has not defeated poverty. Some of our members become actors, filmmakers, journalists, writers, TV anchors. One of our members is among the most recognized Gujarati film actors today. 2 trained at the National School of Drama. They all are representing DNTs into their field within their capacities, and their representation is the need of our in the DNT movement. With some successes, we also lost one of the members, Ankur Garange, who joined Budhan Theatre at the age of, he was 8-year-old. Poverty, alcoholism, and structural neglect claimed his life. We also lost our amazing poet and actress, Ruchika, who fondly called herself the theatre girl. So yes, Budhan Theatre opens doors, but without constitutional support and economic security, community theatre alone cannot sustain lives. This is why our struggle is not only cultural, it is constitutional. Denotified tribes are still not recognized as distinct category under the Indian Constitution. We are pushed into the OBC category where we are numerically, politically and economically marginalized. This is not an administrative oversight. It is a political failure. DNT needs constitutional guarantee like our SC and ST brothers. Budhan Theatre carry this demand with performances and appeal for the same to audience and the state. This is our creative way to protest for our rights, and at some extent, we succeeded to reach out to political leaders and political parties who at least now recognize DNTs as a separate social group and mobilizing DNTs, but constitutional recognition still due. When COVID-19 shut down the world and physical performances were impossible, Budhan Theatre members continue to speak for DNT communities by using various art like acting, poetry, song, dance, by making films and releasing it on community social media, and gave scientific information to community people in our own indigenous language that is called Bantu. During Corona, we lost around 45 people in our community where I live, because the information was coming actually into the Gujarati or English or Hindi, and we don't speak. Our elderly people, they don't understand these languages. So we made the films by using the online technologies and inform them the scientific information how they can save from this COVID, virus, and we could save few lives. We produced 10 video podcasts on various issues community members were facing during Corona. From 2022 to 2023, Budhan Theatre trained many youth from OBC, Dalit, DNT communities into filmmaking and participatory theatre, and they made films on their community issues. And from 2024 to 2025, we trained DNT, nomadic tribes, Adivasi, Dalit youth who lives into the extreme ecologies of India, like in mountains of Himalayas, with sea communities of Andaman and Nicobar, and desert of Rajasthan, and set up media units so our participant can make films on their community narratives, even post filmmaking workshops. These filmmakers made number of films, and they showcased their films in Nomad Film Festival and also faced audience questions. Filmmaker Neeraj Gewan, Homebound, the director of the Homebound, he rightly said that 15% people are telling their stories to remaining 85% of the population. And 85% of the population is not able to tell their narratives because 50% dominate the creative and culture industry. To fill this gap and to increase the representation of the marginalized communities in India's creative and culture industry, we have decided to establish a school, the Nomad School of Filmmaking and Performing Arts, where youth from underprivileged community will come, learn theatre and filmmaking, and represent their narratives in the creative and culture industry. This school is a dream, and it is not easy to establish such an institution without financial and intellectual support. But we are determined to do it and to give as many cultural leaders as possible to India's social movement. What is the duty as an artist in such a critical time, when freedom of expression is not allowed? It is only artist community that can keep informing the people of this country about political wrongdoings. If your performance is designated, if your performance at designated places are stopped by the state, you find new unconventional ways or spaces and modify your art pieces according to the space and time. If unconventional spaces are banned, then just sing. If singing is banned, then just whisper. And if your whisper is also not allowed, you just stand without expression like a statue. And even if they do not allow you to stand as statue, then get beaten, but do not leave your performance space like Gandhi did in non-cooperation movement. In nutshell, you perform your duty as an artist. The rest will be done by an art. You keep expressing your thoughts fearlessly in different ways and by different means, but keep expressing. Do not stop it, and you will see the change will come. fearless, sustainable art is the need of the hour, and it should be run by the people's funding and make art practices a collective consciousness. Budhan Theatre stands fearlessly with a firm commitment that a day will come when our system will listen us and we will get our due and regain our traditional and identity as a performer. It is a long fight, but we are committed to do it. Theatre and film art are reflection of lived struggle, and they have helped us reclaim our identity and dignity that we lost in post-independence India. We like theatre because theatre makes people think, and thinking unsettle power. When power is unsettled, sometimes they listen to silenced voices, sometimes they remain silent, and sometimes they crack down on the voices to silence them. This is our democracy. To run Budhan Theatre kind of theatre group in the community cost a lot, personally, emotionally, and financially. There is a need to support such community level art initiative financially in a sustainable way by civil society, so that such theatre group can raise their voice fearlessly without restriction from funding agencies. Funding agencies don't allow you to do the political, activities or political voices. Let me conclude. In this initial year of DNT movement around in 1998, 1999, I met a former defense minister, George Fernandes, and a couple of us asked him how the denotified could regain their lost identity and constitutional guarantee, like SC, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe brothers and sisters. He said, democracy responds to numbers. DNT should come in great numbers, and until the numbers rise enough to unsettle the power, Budhan Theatre will continue to ask in every play, on every street, are we second-class citizen? The festival, with its theme, Voices in the Silence, gives me hope, because it reminds us that the silence is never empty. It is full of suppressed voices waiting to be heard. Budhan Theatre is one such voice. We speak not because we are fearless, but because silence has already cost us too much. So, don't be voices in the silence. Just be a voice and break the silence before it's too late. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. He struck the note when he said, do not leave the performance spaces, come what may. That was a very powerful and passionate lecture showcasing the atrocities faced by the denotified communities in India and how Budhan Theatre is erasing the silence that has been lingering among these communities through performing bodies, voice and breath. Thank you very much, sir. And shall we have an interactive session as well? The session is open for discussion. And may we have questions, comments, please?
Hi, sir. Good evening. Your lecture is very short and very powerful. You covered the whole history. In fact, I really liked it because you did it in such a short time. So that is the beauty of an artist and intelligent man. I mean, what you said is I wish you had brought your play here. I wish you had brought your play and bring plays to South India, so all the groups, So then we can watch, and definitely there will be somebody to sponsor and recognize. So we are curious to know what kind of plays they are performing, So we are very, very curious. Definitely, like when you take Ramayana, Mahabharata and all, it was all performed by village people, not the high-class people. They did not have time. When they performed the whole day, 10 days, it was only by uneducated people, So they performed. Yeah, because the high-class people could not perform it. They didn't have time. Maybe they didn't have talent also. So in that way, I really like to see your thing. Next time, please bring some documentary films on them, or if you are short it, and bring the plays. And somebody told me that you directed a film, and you won an award also. We would like to see that film.
That's on, maybe on, I think it should be available on Amazon Prime. The title is Samir, S-A-M-E-R. But yeah, we did perform in Kerala, in Calicut. We were invited, our performance, Girgit, the play called Girgit. And that, we criticized the right-wing politics in the country, and we performed, I think, 5 to 6 shows in the villages near the Calicut. And I think we also, Kochi, okay.
All your plays are based on operation, no?
Our most of plays are actually based on the D&T issues, mostly on the D&T. I mean, if even we adapt any of the play, like Dario Fo's play, so we also like to incorporate D&T issues in the play, so at least we can tell, what we want to say to the audience. So most of plays are on the D&T issues only. I mean, whenever the atrocities actually happen across the country, like for example, recently, the person actually who was marrying, on the marriage day, the police picked him on this pickpocketing case. And on the same marriage day, he didn't allow to, get married, and the police picked him and put him into the custody and brutally beat him, and he died. Just was a custodial death on the same day. In the morning they picked up, in the evening he died. And normally police says that he got heart attack and blah blah blah, but then we did a lot of protest, and finally Supreme Court ordered to the CBI to investigate the case, and a prima facie says that the police have actually brutally beaten to him, like what happened with the Budan Sabar, what happened with the Pinhari Kale. I mean, there were so many people actually who are being killed because of the criminal tribe stigma. So we are doing a play actually on this. Hopefully, in the next year, in the festival, we'll bring our play.
You cannot blame police always. So they're only obeying the rules of the higher authorities. You can't blame. They're very, very innocent. They're listening to their higher authorities, political people like that. They're also very, very powerless. 50%.
It was quite a touching lecture, sir. Thank you for giving. I wanted to ask, so you said you made a play based on the Bulldozer Raj with Maxim Gorky's Lower Depth. So when the government starts doing something like it, how do you then go ahead to make a production? Like, do you find out about it and then do you have a discussion with your group? How do you...
I think the process is, whenever such things happen, we always try to go in the community, we speak with the community, we speak with the testimonies and people who are facing. And honestly saying, I don't remember we have written any of the play actually. We improvise the play based on the discussion with the testimonies, with the victims, and after 8 to 10, I think, performances, we start to write play. So it's a very different kind of process, because the community's expression and whatever the suffering, that has to reflect that maybe I can't understand by sitting in Ahmedabad. So I need to go to Maharashtra, maybe sit with the community members, sit with the victims, and how they're actually expressing, and what are the thoughts, what is their universe, that I need to understand, then improvise the play. So Bulldozer was exactly in the same way, because in Ahmedabad, वो कहते हैं ना अत्र तत्र सर्वत्रम sundaram sundaram sundaram. So this government is very crazy, actually making everything beautiful. अभी तो Commonwealth आ रहा है, तो all the bastis are bulldozed, and every I mean, there is so much mess up actually happening. So people have their own thoughts and their suffering, their dialogues maybe. So we got actually from their experiences in, when we talk with them. So Bulldozer was actually made based on the discussion with the community members, and we performed around 36 shows in 5 days. So we used to perform on the streets. We got the help. We also performed in exactly at the gate of the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. We were arrested, and the collectorate. So these are the spaces where you need to perform. Otherwise, how your voices will reach? Media will not write about such kind of performances. We are not doing Shakespearean theater, in the big, but it's a small street theater. So we did that. We did hunger strike also, and then finally many lawyers came forward to help for the housing rights. So the Bulldozer play become the medium to get the help, and then we won the case. I mean, it took 2004 to 2017. How many years? 11 years. It's a total altogether 11 years struggle from making play to get the justice from the government.
I was wondering, what are you doing to revive your language, which you say is dying out because of other influences, modernization, globalization, Vedic culture?
I must say that we love our language. We always speak in our language. When we are in the community, we speak in our own language only. And to preserve it, our children theatre group, they always do theatre in our Bantu language only. Whether people are, it's very easy to understand. It's a Rajasthani and Marathi mixed dialect, but people don't understand Narsi Parsi. See, we speak Bantu, but we have a Narsi Parsi language also. Now Narsi Parsi is a hidden language. We use this language only when there is a crisis. Otherwise we don't speak. So for example, if there is a policeman and he's here to arrest me, and I want to give message to my community member, for my family members, so I will speak in Narsi Parsi. Police can understand Bantu easily, or any outsider can easily, because that's a mixture of two languages. But Narsi Parsi people cannot understand. It's a hidden language, and we practice these languages in a day-to-day, affairs within a community. And our children theatre, they perform their all plays in their language, so at least they should not forget. In the recent survey by the Dr. Ganesh Devi and entire team, the People's Linguistic Survey of India, they found more than 720 living languages in India. 720 living languages. And every year many languages are not killed, but they died because of the migration. So my people, they live in a very, together. They don't want to go too far from each other. That's why our languages still exist. But once the migration starts, the language starts to vanish.
So how do you ensure that you, give this legacy to your next generation, even in spite of migration or whatever?
No, we speak in our language. Our community council is in our language. All the rituals are in our language. And I mean, I studied in Gujarati medium, but my Gujarati is not very good at all. I mean, if I write Gujarati, you know, they will throw my paper because grammatically it will mistake. So we speak wherever we are, the Bantus are, whether in Maharashtra, whether in Delhi, in Rajasthan, or in Gujarat, wherever. We speak, we don't, or wherever we go and meet with each other, we don't speak in Hindi. We speak in our own language only. I think these are the ways that, you know, helping us to preserve our language.
And lastly, do you have a script? I mean, is it written or is
No,
it only
it's
oral
not.
tradition?
No, it's just a verbal. It's not.
So how do you ensure that? Because it's.
I mean, there is a need
future
actually. Many
generation.
someone in Jabalpur started to write the grammar of you know, Bantu language. I don't know what happened, but I think without script, also language exists. You know, I understand that for the academic or for the research context, you need to preserve and to make a script of your particular language. But my language, Bantu language, sustained without script since thousands of years till now.
Yeah, but the
It can.
conditions were very different then.
Yeah, but now, yeah, I understand. I completely understand. It can also have power to sustain more 1,000 years if people live together. If they don't, then it will slowly it will also vanish.
So the theatre performances that you do you also include your folklore, your creation stories, or
Yes,
is
yes.
it only, you know, this is oppression and we need to fight
No,
activist stuff?
we include many things. We include our, you know, stories that are tell in the community council. Our justice system, the community's justice system, is based on the storytelling. The best you are a storyteller, you are the best lawyer. This is what actually my community members say. So whatever the problems or internal quarrels happen, they solve the problems by telling the stories. And these all stories are actually in Bantu language. And these are not written stories. I started to write it down, but in Bantu, with the help of Gujarati and Hindi script.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If there are no more questions, shall this be the last question, please?
So your plays are in Bantu, the plays that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when you do shows outside the community, do you use subtitles or like is it visually? Does it communicate?
Actually, Bantu people can easily understand. Specifically, I'm saying in Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, but not in Delhi, not in other places. So many of our plays that we perform in the surrounding states, you know, many of the plays are in Bantu, but most of plays are in Hindi. We are very bad in Gujarati. We studied in Gujarati medium, but we are very bad in Gujarati. So we are very good in Hindi. I don't know why, but you know, so we do theatre in Hindi also. So we can perform in other states also, in Delhi or northeast or, you know, northern side of India. It was in Hindi. Yeah. It was in Hindi.
Dakshin, I just wanted to ask you, because some of your boys have got trained very well and they are moving ahead. So how do you see that? Like, how are they working and how are they making spaces and how the whole thing is moving forward? So how do you look at all those movements which are also happening? The ones who have got trained and so how do you look at those journeys now?
You mean further journey?
Yeah, the like Alok and all those who are working now quite well and
Yeah, I mean, these are the success. We say that these are the success stories. I mean, these are the people who not. I mean, living in CHHARA Nagar, where I live, it's very easy to trap into the criminal activities, you know, because that is our livelihood, unfortunately. But that's a systematic design, economic design, you know, by the policymakers. Like in Gujarat, we are in OBC and we get study, we get educated, but we don't get jobs. So even after getting educated, if you don't get the job, you come back at home and brew the liquor, because that is the ultimate, you know, people are doing. But these success stories like Alok, Vivek or Kalpana and Roxy and, you know, other members, many other members, they are actually out of this vicious circle. And theatre made this possible. If they would not do theatre, even I, myself, if I would not do theatre, I would be maybe somewhere in jail. But, you know, theatre made us more sensible towards the society. And, you know, theatre helped us to understand the context, why we are suffering, what we are suffering, and how we can speak. I mean, that is the most important. Yesterday we were talking about the process. I mean, from this process, theatre process, we try to become a good human being to speak for others and for ourselves also. This is the way all the Buddhan theatre members, wherever they are in the respective field, they are representing the entities. Like Alok did great job in Delhi Crime 2 series, and so Delhi Crime 2, so many of the episodes were on denotified tribe. So Alok helped them to understand the context of the DNT. Now Delhi Crime is very big show, you know, all over the world, country, people started to recognize denotified tribes, and that because of Alok's intervention, you know, with the producer and with the writer. Like Kalpana, she is representing, you know, herself into the Gujarati film industry. Roxy is representing himself in the BBC, so he's a BBC bureau there. And whenever such kind of atrocities happen, he is the first voice who write, who make, and BBC actually release that, you know, that stories. Otherwise, nobody care. Even nobody care actually about Dalits or Adivasis. DNTs are very too far away actually. So people who are living, people who are working in a different field, who are come out from the success stories of the Buddhan theatre, they are representing DNT issues in their own way, in their own capacities.
If there are no more questions, shall we wind up the session? Thank you very much, DAKXIN sir. Voices like you are a hope that they will continue to be singing in the dark times. Thank you very much. And thanks to the audience as well for adding value to the session. Thank you very much. We are ending the session now. And at 5 o'clock, there is a film screening happening here. The name of the film is Colors of Collywood, a Melanin Deficiency. Please join us at 5. Thank you very much.